Yeah, so this next question is about working with the cumulative delta. Now, something that's very critical to point out about this question is when you put the cumulative delta on your chart, you'll notice the calculate is set to on each tick. So basically, yeah, the safest rule to go with is that all order flow indicators have to run with calculate on each tick. Some order flow indicators can function, on bar close, but those are very rare and very limited in the type of order flow analysis they can do. Right? I mean, really the point of order flow analysis is to analyze real-time volume coming in, right? So just take note that order flow type of indicators, require calculate on each tick. And so that means we need to take BloodHound and set BloodHound to operate on each tick as well. Right? So you cannot mix and match calculation modes, all right, within NinjaTrader. So if you're using a indicator that requires calculate to be on each tick, then if you're using that indicator inside of BloodHound, then NinjaTrader requires that BloodHound also run with calculate on each tick, right? Otherwise, your order flow indicator is not going to function correctly, right? So what NinjaTrader does is if BloodHound is set to on bar close, then NinjaTrader forces the order flow indicator to also calculate on bar close, right? So NinjaTrader doesn't allow things to be mix and matched. So we got to set BloodHound to calculate on each tick, and that allows the cumulative delta indicator to function properly as well, to operate properly. So let's get that changed over. All right. Yeah, so Stefan wants to actually use a bar period. Yeah, have the period set to bar, like so. And the other thing here, let's see, let me just draw something. Yeah, I'll set a line at 20. So we're just going to set a threshold level of 20 there, and also a threshold level at -20. There. Okay. So this is a pretty straightforward and simple question. How do we detect when the cumulative delta, exceeds some kind of threshold value, right? Some kind of volume threshold. And so I'm just using 20 for this example here. Right. So again, the first thing that's critical was that BloodHound have its calculate mode set to on each tick so that our cumulative delta indicator will run correctly inside of BloodHound, as required by NinjaTrader. And then the next part is basically really simple. So let's see here. So order flow, cumulative delta, with a 20. So we're just looking for a 20 threshold on the order flow cumulative delta. So we're going to grab a threshold solver. Let's connect that up. All right, so our threshold values that we're looking for are 20 and -20. Right. So with the threshold solver, all right, most people do not want to use BloodHound's fuzzy logic. They just want an absolute signal above 20 or no signal below 20, right? So just to remove the fuzzy logic calculation, we enter our threshold value twice, right? So that's why 20 is in here twice, and that's why -20 is in there twice. And then threshold C, that needs to be a value somewhere in the middle, somewhere between 20 and somewhere between -20. And so, we can just leave it at 0, right? Pretty straightforward. And then, so we want to generate, let's just say, for example, we want to generate a long output, right? If the cumulative delta goes above +20, we'll generate a long. And if the cumulative delta goes below -20, we'll generate a short. Right? So for our long output, we're looking for greater than 20. And for the short output, we're looking for less than -20. So there's our outputs. And so the next thing we need to do is I still need to put the order flow indicator in here. So let's open this up. And let's go find it. There you go. Order flow, cumulative delta. Select that. And remember, on the chart, our period is set to bar. Right? So in order to identify, a cumulative delta value, greater or less than, right? You have to look at it using a period of bar, a bar style period. So, and then next, and so now you have two options here. Are you looking for the cumulative delta to close above your threshold value, or are you looking for just the high, for the high to penetrate past it, right? So we could use either the high or the low, if we're just looking for the high of the cumulative delta or the low. Or we can verify if the closing price, right, if the CD actually closes past our threshold values. And I'm pretty sure that what Stefan wanted was he wants the cumulative delta to close on the other side of those threshold values. So we'll just use the delta close right there. And one final step. So once we plug in our order flow indicator, you'll notice that BloodHound gives us a little message that says multi-time frame indicator added, right? And these order flow indicators are multi-time framed. So they're using a one-tick data series in combination with them. So we just simply need to reload the chart, as that little message tells us. Reload the chart. That way we can get that secondary data series in there. Right? And here's another little tip here. So if you're ever curious to know what secondary time frames your indicators might be using, well, BloodHound will actually tell you. So right here on the name, right? So the first time frame, the 5 range, well, that's going to be your chart, right? So that's going to be the primary bars here. And then if there's another time frame, that's going to be from your indicators, right? So you can see this one tick. So this one tick data series is actually coming, or it's coming from, it's required by the order flow indicator here. Right? So you'll see like the other time frames that your indicators might be requiring there as well. And there's actually a third option as well. So if you do add like secondary time frames within BloodHound, right? So maybe you want to take a look at stuff from a 5-minute chart, then obviously that 5-minute time frame is going to show up. It's going to show up on this list as well here. All right. So anyways, just a little extra piece of information there. So, all right, let's close that out. And we got to reload the chart again. So there we have it. Pretty straightforward, right? So whenever the cumulative delta, exceeds 20 or exceeds -20, there's our signals right there. So again, the key is to make sure that you have BloodHound you need to have BloodHound's calculate mode set to on each tick so that the order flow indicators can operate correctly as well.